Okay, in this video we're going to talk about some video editing within the timeline when you've got two different videos you're trying to put together. So we're going to open up our Finder, and we've got a new project started. And what we've got is one file here. We got to import into the media library. What we've got is one main video file that's going to go on the main timeline, and then we've got a second shot that we're going to throw in here that's going to go over the top of that. So we'll go ahead and pull our main guy down, and then we'll go ahead and pull in our second shot over the top of it. Okay. So the first thing we got to do is line them up. And so this is where hopefully in the course of the production stage, when we actually did the recording, hopefully we did some things to help ourselves. So in this case, this main track that I've got is carrying the audio that I want already. I did some work before that, which I'll cover in a different video to make that the case. But this other camera also had its own built-in mic, and so I've got audio on it too, and that's going to really help me to be able to line this up. So you can see in iMovie, I can just drag, right? So come up some of the functions here. I can drag this around to actually change where it's timed, or if I move it like this, I'm actually trimming it. So I'm trimming the beginning when I do that. So what I've got to do in this case is I have to figure out where I can line up this top one with this bottom one. And so what we did during our video take was we clap at the beginning, and then I'll also get to that we clap at the end as well. And so you can kind of look in the audio waveform if you kind of know where it is, and you might have to, if you're getting it raw, you might have to go look for it. But it looks like I've got a clap here. Okay, so there we go. So that's true. And you heard a couple, you hear both tracks playing right now because I have them both turned on. But there's a spike there, and it appears that in my first video, maybe this guy is that one as well. So it looks like I'm right there. Okay, so I've got to make this spike and this spike go together. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to shorten up that one. And I know we're not even, our video is not even starting. It's like not even close. So in fact, I'll pull my main one over too, just to make it a little easier. So now we can zoom. So we use this little guy here, this little bar to zoom in. And we pretty much want to zoom in, you know, pretty far, maybe even all the way, just so we get the most precision. We'd really like this to be right on top of each other in the best way possible. So it looks like this one is the best we can do, it looks like. So now when we play it, instead of hearing two different audio, we should be hearing essentially the same audio overlaid. So there we go. So now we're just hearing a single feed because both those microphones are picking up the same thing. So now we've got them laying on top of each other, but the one other thing that we'll check is that actually sometimes the video feeds themselves. In this case, both of these record on an iPad, so I have no idea why it does this, but it's possible that the video tracks themselves will get a little bit out of sync. It almost always happens when we're marrying up audio to video at this point. Again, not sure why, but if you might have the problem with video too. So I'm just going to look at that real quick. And so I mentioned that we actually clapped at the end, and so that's what we've got now is these spikes here, and you can actually see, sure enough, they're a little off. And if I play this, you'll hear the audio. Right? Not quite lined up. So we're not going to use the audio from the top one. So if this was a shorter video, I might just go ahead and leave that be. You get a little bit of the sort of moving mouth, not at the right quite time exactly that you want it. But this is a pretty small thing that it's doing here. But given that this video is over 30 minutes, it's like it is kind of noticeable. This is about about a second almost. And so what we can do, iMovie's got this function in it where we can change the speed of any video or image or sound or anything. And so the way we do that is we're going to click on the second shot one. So we want to try to, if possible, we want to leave the main timeline untouched. So we're going to click on this guy and we're going to go up to this speed wheel and make sure that this is highlighted here. And what we got to do is go to customize, and we have to punch in a number first. So we'll just say 101. So this is going to make this guy go faster, or actually, sorry, slower in this case. But I don't want to, I'm not going to just leave it at the 101 because that's not going to get me the result I want. What I want to do, the reason I did that is so that I can get this little guy here. Not this circle, but this circle where I see the timer up. Now I can drag this over, and basically I'm shortening the duration of the whole clip as I do that. And what I'm going to do is, once I kind of got it in what I think is the neighborhood, and it's actually a little hard to tell here where I'm going with this. But what I'm going to look for is my second set of claps in order to be able to line them up. And so sometimes that might take a little bit of time. I'm going to pause this because I'm having a hard time finding it. Okay, so I've gone ahead and found it. My problem was that my upper clip here was a lot longer than the lower one, and so, but now I've found it. I actually clapped twice here. So there's the peaks on the top one. Here's the peaks on the bottom one. So back to this little timer guy. I can just get it into the ballpark by dragging it. And once I think I've got it closer, I'll again want to zoom in more. So we can zoom in more. And it's helpful for, for the end to really be the end, right? So if you need to trim the end in order to get it, in order to get this to line up, we can do that to just help our case a little bit here. Okay, so there we still got our. Can still see our two claps on each file, and we can get this lined up. We'll still want to check after we do this. We'll want to check the beginning again. But let's see here. So you can actually hear it's still not really quite aligned. So let's try that a little bit more. There we go. That's much better. And so now we'll check the beginning again, the first clap, to make sure that still works. Okay, so it sounds like that's still in line. Okay, so now we got it lined up. And then in the second part of the video, I'll talk about how to basically cut in and out of the two pieces of footage.